All right. Hi, Dawn. I've been so looking forward to doing this with you and having a chat so that, because we have really great chats, and I've been looking forward to having a conversation with you this way so that I can share it with others, because the work you do is very interesting. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Okay.
And, just kind of briefly how you got to this place where you're,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. I'm an intuitive energy healer that has several modalities. COVID allowed me to study a lot. So I've been studying and practicing and all the things. And health and wellness has been my pathway. I survived a tragic car accident when I was 15 years old and have had ongoing health issues pretty much ever since. They took their time, but I worked in healthcare for 15 years, and now I'm on permanent disability. And so the recovery of that has been this last 10 years, and energy healing has been pivotal in that.
Yeah, it sounds like that really had an impact. I mean, that changed your life in a major way, your life direction.
Yes, it did. Well, when it becomes, I say often that I'm a professional patient, right? So I really relied on Western medicine for quite some time. And then I have sort of extricated myself from that and gone the way of alternative and holistic methods, and finding a new balance within my body and in my wellness. And now am called to help others.
That's great, because so often we have issues going on that have emotional roots as well, physical and emotional and spiritual roots. And we need access to some kind of modality or person to help us kind of get to what I call the excavation, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So getting to those root causes. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about today specifically was how we prepare ourselves for a session with a client.
Yes.
Because, you and I have both talked about how important it is to prepare ourselves so that we're in a good space when we start this, and also to set an intention.
Yes.
Right.
So often I will meditate before, because I can get hits on the person before. Hits meaning pictures or visions or ideas of what needs to be cleared for them. And I like to clear my own energy or that of the space. And I'm not a big fan of the burning because I have asthma, so I can't burn sage. I like Palo Alto. But again, I don't like the lingering smell of smoke in all my clothes and my hair, right? So I really love using your sprays that have a frequency in them that clears the space as well. And then I call in angels, guides, ascended masters. If I'm setting up an actual space for a container, I call in archangels and do the four corners of the room, and have Archangel Michael do the core in the middle.
Ah, that's cool. But what it sounds to me like is that you only call in the archangels if you're using a physical space. What about if you're doing virtual?
Space. Yeah, and virtual, I just call in the angels, guides, ascended masters, and I channel we call them the 18. My spirit's the 18. Yeah. So I call in them. Yeah.
Is that 18 like the number?
No, 18. The 18.
18.
Yeah.
You're 18.
Yeah, my 18. Yeah.
Right. So that's really cool for me to hear that again, because I've talked to a few other people who also do the same thing. And I do it in a way of saying a prayer for protection and calling in the help of my guides. So we all have a slightly different way of doing that, but so that's how you prepare for a session. What about, say you're having a session with somebody who's brand new. You already talked about how you meditate ahead of time and you connect with that person. Tell us a little bit more about how you connect that way.
Well, when a session starts, I get
you-
connected energetically with a client,
Mhm.
right? And wow, I don't know how to explain that exactly.
Okay.
I move over
No,
my
that's-
meridians and ask for the energetic connection, and I muscle test if we're connected and if I have their permission for the session. The subconscious has to agree to a session. So I haven't had many no's. So
So that's kind of what I wanted to zero in on, because it's important, I think, to get the person's, mind you, if they've made an appointment with you,
there is intention. Yes,
there is
exactly.
intention.
Yes.
That's right.
So that's received. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you start? Because I know that you have several different modalities in your toolkit. So how would you decide, what to do or how to start with someone, or do you just use a compilation of different things?
Yes, I believe, well, same like all things, I feel like I'm a channel. I'm a channel, right? That people get the session they need, not necessarily the one that they want, right? And we start out by talking about the issues that are at hand that are bothering them. And some of the modalities are kind of advanced, like the quantum energy and timeline shifting is kind of advanced. And there's even parts of the soul awakening method, which is ancestral trauma, that are advanced. And there's some things I can't do, like organ walls. I can't release those until the subconscious trusts me. So that tends to take 2 to 3 sessions for the subconscious to trust me and to have those things truly revealed. So we talk about the things that are bothering a person, and then I formulate a question, like if, let's see, like how do I create what needs to be released to create freedom and ease, to release the need to be right here and now, something like that, right? Or if somebody is having body issues or complex relationships, all the things. And I create a question. And so then I find out whether I can find the emotion trapped in a chakra, and I release that. And I find out if that was inherited from your mother's side or father's side and how many generations ago. And I tend to get pretty long things, like 80 to 90 generations. And a generation is 30 years. So that's just a couple thousand years, right? So
Nothing.
No big deal. Yes. And then the more time that you work and connect with somebody, you learn about the patterns that are holding somebody back, right? And how repetitive things keep coming up. And even as they're doing healing, they become more self-aware as well, and often come in with a list of things that they want to clear. So it evolves. It evolves over time. The sessions change, but so generally, yeah.
Sounds like working on healing the shadow. Would you agree with that?
On healing the shadow. No, I feel like shadow work is very specific. I feel like it is mostly ancestral trauma and patterns and belief systems. And, I have a lot of sayings and a lot of advice, and even the channeling comes through. And I just say things, and I don't necessarily recall it or know where it came from. And again, a lot of times these things are sort of ethereal, like a client gets in a trance-like state. I don't know if you've ever had this experience. If you're learning from somebody, a divinely gifted person, sometimes I can't always receive what's being said. I get in a trance-like state, almost like sleeping. I almost fall asleep.
Mhm.
And I have to re-listen. And it's like my subconscious had to receive it first before I can actually absorb it in my full body and in my brain. So commonly,
Interesting.
things are cleared from the subconscious. And I say this too, this is the beauty of the work, is that you don't have to recall an actual trauma. You don't have to share it. You don't have to relive it. You like we just clear some shit. I call it clearing shit. We just it doesn't have to make sense. The words, the stories that I get from the ancestors, all the things. Some people like to keep notes and like to understand it, and you actually don't have to. You don't have to. It's like clearing it through the subconscious. And there are some things that are very consciously cleared, but most things are the subconscious, and you just clear that shit, and the client feels better.
And again, it's the layers of an onion, right? So
Yes.
each time there are some slightly deeper things that can be cleared.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I've experienced that with you, where after a session, I want to write everything down because I want to keep track of, so I can look at it later and say, oh, okay. And there's always, you're clearing something and replacing with something else, right?
Yes. Replace with something positive. Yes.
So I like that because clearing something negative leaves a void.
It does leave a void. Yes. And so replacing with the positive feels like grounding. It grounds you in that healing, and that change has happened
Right.
at that subconscious level. Yes.
Yeah. And a new place to start from.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Even and the words that are spoken in that, it's like sort of foreign concepts that haven't been addressed. Right. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you wrap up a session and
Yes.
yeah.
So we close a session by we make a closing statement to allow the client to integrate the new awareness and insights.
Mm-hmm.
I anchor their heart, body, mind, and soul, and reintegrate everything that was cleared so that it can be fully accepted by the subconscious on all levels and dimensions.
Right.
And then I close the session by sending love and light, basically. Yeah. So you actively close this session.
Right. And do you have some dialogue with the client about what has transpired, or do you look for something specific, like a specific state to leave the person in? Does that make sense?
Yes. No, because it's a personal thing. Like a lot of people, if they're falling asleep, I tell them to rest for like another 30 minutes. It's important to the process of integration takes up to 48 hours. So it's important. A lot of self-care, hydration is super important. When you're moving that amount of energy, you have to be very hydrated. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after the person has left or you've hung up the phone or the Zoom call, what do you do for yourself?
I also drink water and will reset my energy. I clear my energy with I use selenite wand
Mhm.
over my body, or the frequency sprays, or Palo Alto. Yes, all the
Right.
things. Yeah,
Palo Alto, if you can handle the smoke that day.
that's right. That's right. I do it with my door open. Yeah,
Right.
because I hate the lingering smell. But sometimes when you move big things, you have to do all the clearing all the ways. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was an important lesson for me when I started doing
Mhm.
Reiki sessions, was I needed to clear afterwards. It wasn't just taking on the emotional kind of energy from the client, but it was also in some cases physical, something
Absolutely.
that came through physically. So I actually had circles on my hands, peeling circles on my hands
Wow.
um, after one client, and so that was just kind of a wake up call.
Yes.
So we can do so much to help people, but it's what I'm learning about this way of being of service is that we have to also really increase our self-care.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I'm highly gifted empath. I am highly gifted at taking on others and the collective energy at all times, right? I have to clear frequently, and had to learn the hard way, right? Like very often I'd be like sick after pulling cards for clients for a day, right? Like
Oh,
at
see.
a live session or at a show. And yeah. And so you have to be um, yeah, more self-protective and prioritize your own energy, right? And then take action. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you so much for this chat that we've recorded, because yeah, and I love doing this, and I'd love to do it again with you. And
Absolutely.
we'll talk about something slightly different, but still about learning from each other and giving other people the chance to hear about what you do. And how do we get a hold of you? Maybe when I post the video, I will also put some links below.
Okay. Yes, my
So
business is called Real Power Coaching. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah.
that's great. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
We'll talk soon.